Okay. We are live for the first time this week. It's been one of those weeks. So this morning, we took the kids to the dentist, and that makes me tired. It's funny, I think, so my little one, no problem going to the dentist. Let me turn my overhead camera on here too. Little one has no problem going to the dentist. It's the big one. And the big one does okay, but she needs the support. You know, so she gets a little anxious, as does the father, me. She gets a little anxious going to the dentist. And so the little one did great, and the big one did fine, but she needed a lot of support. I feel like I went to the dentist today, even though I didn't. But here's I'll show you a picture. This is the little one after she got a clean bill of health there. She's very happy. So she had a very good trip to the dentist. And the other one did fine, but she would have preferred not going to the dentist. All right. Everybody is joining us on the chat here. I'm going to say hello to some friends, and then we're going to get going on this one. Now, the source of this projector is a good one because some of you may know Brian Parker, who's a fan and overly generous supporter of the channel, and he called me the other day, and he said, "Hey, I bought this projector. It's not working for me. Why don't you take it so you can review it?" So we're going to review it. I'm going to sell it for him after I'm done, because it wasn't bright enough for what he was doing. He does live instruction, in-person instruction, and I guess he has found that it's not bright enough to work in a lit room. So we'll take a look at that because I set up a camera on the other side of the room here. That's the view. So once we get it unboxed and set up, so this will probably be a longer one today because we're going to be kind of setting it up and seeing how it goes. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. So I want to say hello to some friends first who are coming in here, and then we'll get to work. So Joe Tyson is here, Patrick Chang is here, Mark Dell is here, the usual crowd. Anthony Gwynn is here. BB Garnett is here with some Jell-O. Dave Ramrup is here. Romeric is here. Dennis Black is interested in these things. Yeah, they make good stuff. I reviewed so they have a smaller one called I think it's also called the Nebula capsule maybe, which is like a little bit, it's like the size of a Pringles can. So this is the larger one. And then there's a couple different versions of this. So this one is the more expensive Pro model that has a brighter output, but it's only 500 lumens. So if you wanted to work in a lit room, you're looking at maybe 1500 or so. So we'll have to see what we get there. Dave is looking for some Chromebooks. I have a Chrome box on the way, hopefully, and whenever there's Chromebooks around, I grab them. So if you know of one that I haven't reviewed, let me know and I'll try to get it. We'll try to get it in here. Timothy Martin is here. Just bought a new projector the other day. And yeah, so Mark Dell was reacting to the picture of my daughter I had on my phone. So they make the kids wear, and actually my dentist is doing this now too. They put safety glasses on you when they're doing the cleaning so you don't get stuff in your eyes. So they have the kids wear little sunglasses to make them feel more comfortable. It's a child dentist place. GameX Technology is here. Mark Dell says we need to definitely have a picture of a nebula. That would make sense, wouldn't it? I'll take a look and see if I can find one. I'm sure we'll get one in there. David Martin Graff is here. Robin Mitchell is here. And David asked a very good question here. What's the lumens? This is only 500, and I would consider this to be a Pico projector. So this would work, like if you've got kids and you're doing like outside movie night or something, this would do okay for that. But I suspect that when we get things hooked up, now I've got on the other end of my room here, I've got a blank wall that we're going to project onto with the overhead lights on, and I suspect it's not going to be really all that bright in that use case. What they're saying on it, let's take a look at the specs here. By the way, it is 720p only, so this is not a 1080p or a 4K projector. A lot of times these will play obviously it'll play 1080p and 4K video, but it's going to basically down convert it to 720p. 500 lumens. So again, bright but not all that bright. So bright for dark, not bright for a lit up room. It's got a pretty big battery, 12,500 milliamp hours. You need that to power the light bulb. And it supports HDMI, Miracast, AirPlay, Bluetooth, and USB, but no Chromecasting, which is interesting. And you know, one of the things that intrigues me about these, and maybe this one came out a little bit later, because it's running Android 7.1, which is definitely behind the times a bit. We'll see if there's an update for it. This is not running with Android TV. So you're going to get Android apps to run on it, but it's not the TV interface, so they have their own interface on here. So that's how that works. And what's cool, though, is that you don't actually need to hook up anything to the projector to play, because it's got the Android player built in. So you can get, it says it gets Netflix and YouTube. And if I remember correctly, the capsule one that we reviewed a while back didn't work with Netflix, which you would think would be an obvious thing if you're going to have the projector. But this one, I think, does support Netflix. So we'll take a look at that. Anthony Gwynn here says, yeah, this is a 720p projector, and he says that many of them are not true 1080p. They use pixel shifting. Interesting. So yeah, we'll take a look and see what the image quality is on it. And you know, I think what Anker does, I mean, they're very good about this, is, you know, they're good at sourcing components, right? So they're going to get what they can pack into something at this price point and kind of go from there. David Martin Grass says, ZTE Spro Plus was going to be a great projector. That is interesting. I wonder if we can find one of those. And Mark says they've repeated Android 7 multiple times on the back of the box. Yeah, I think the reason, oh, you know what it is because they have multiple languages here. And I guess, yeah, it's kind of funny when you think about it. Like, you only need to put it once, but I guess they're translating into a bunch of different languages here, so they figured. So you have down here, I think it's Arabic, right? So it's got Android 7.1 in Arabic, but the rest of them are just Roman fonts there. 3-hour playtime, they say, also with the battery, and we'll probably not be able to charge it up to the full capacity, but we'll try that out. Now, again, in full disclosure, this is something that Brian Parker, a fan of the channel, who you'll probably see on the chat in a minute, he sent this to me because it wasn't going to work for him. So this is like one of these fan-donated items. And what I'm going to be doing is selling this for him. So if anyone wants to buy it when we're done here, I'll have a review up later in the week also. It's actually smaller than I expected. So this is the unit. That's it. David's devices on the Amazon chat says Android 7.1 times 10 must be an upgraded Android. Exactly. So actually, I think it's pretty attractive. Now, I guess what it's got on here are speakers on the left and the right. So we'll test that out. You got a tripod mount here at the bottom. So I have a tripod we'll mount it to. So from a build quality perspective, it feels nice. It's got this, and we talked about synthetic leather the other day on one of our other streams, but it's got this leather-ish strap on the top here. So it's got some like, you know, kind of pocketbook kind of feel to it. Let me get my camera adjusted here a little bit. So I wonder if he's got a charging in. Now, what we've got here on the back, now remember, this is a projector. So you have an HDMI input. Maybe we can hook the mister up to it or something. USB here, and this is, I'm guessing this is like for external storage. And you've got your audio out, so you can hook speakers up to it if you want to do that. DC in. What I don't see is a card reader. Sometimes you see card readers on these, but it looks like it's just the USB. And then they've got an IR receiver here in the back because there is a remote control. Kind of your run-of-the-mill remote control there. And then I'm assuming this HDMI is an input. I would imagine it would be. And then we've got our cables here. So we've got a USB. It's got one of these deals in there. I wonder if that was something he just had. And then we've got the power adapter. So I think what we'll do is probably hook it up to the tripod and kind of get it set up in the spot that we're going to be putting it in, so we can kind of get it going. But it is very lightweight. Omar says, it is not powered by Android TV. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. It is Android, but not Android TV. So they have their own thing on there. Cedar Lake is wondering if I have an affiliate link for vMix. No, I do not. But head on over there, because they were very kind to donate a couple of copies to the local schools here. So we're going to be getting them set up very shortly with that. Yeah. Hey, I'm always up for this. So like, this is like a great example, I think, of an item that does very well for this circumstance. So if you've got something you want to get rid of, let me know. And I've got some stuff for you, Mark Dell. So let's email. I'll get you that ATEM thing going. And then David's talking about this ZTE one that had looks like a Swiss Army knife of stuff there. So pretty cool. Now in the front, we've got a little lens cover. Now, what's interesting is that it looks like it blocks part of the projector lens. So I don't know if that's going to cast a shadow or not. Isn't that interesting? See that? Let me turn it on and see if he's got any charge in this thing, and then we'll hook it up. It looks like it's got a Bluetooth button, so you could probably hook up a Bluetooth connection for audio. All right, so how do we turn this thing on? I guess I could use the remote control to turn it on. Let's try that. It looks like it's dead. All right, so we're going to hook it up on the tripod, and we'll get it into position over there. So let me leave you with an image of the box here while I work on getting the tripod set up. You got a tripod with it also. I think it's just like your standard run-of-the-mill tripod. So we'll go grab that real quick and see what that looks like. And then we'll get cooking. And this is not like a tripod specific for, oh, it is actually. Okay, so here, I'll show you this then too. So I didn't include this in the product carousel on Amazon, but this is the tripod. And this apparently is designed for the Nebula, but if you look on the bottom, that's just a standard tripod mount. David's Devices says the lens cover seems intrusive. Yeah, we'll take a look when we power this thing up and see what impact it might have. And let me get the tripod set up over there. So this is like a big version of some of the little ones that you typically see. So this is what it looks like. So you have to get the legs down here, and then they don't lock in. So you've got to. Here, I'll show you how this looks here. So you have to kind of lock it in a specific spot. So you kind of lower it down, and then it. Actually, I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. Oh, I see. You actually have to push it in. So this will push down, and then that'll lock the leg in. So if I push it down, it won't go past that part. Oops. Okay, so that looks like it's in place. And then what we'll do is I guess you could detach this part like this and then screw it into the bottom. Although I think like a plate would have been a better way to go with this, because otherwise you're twisting this thing over around and around until you get it onto the base here. But let's get this on. And I'll pull up some questions here. So Mark Dell, I'll put this up here for everybody. Yeah, so, you know, I have a couple of projectors, and it has changed a bit. And really what it comes down to is the level of brightness that you want. Because one of these things, like I said, this is 500 lumens, which is not bad, but it's not as bright as what you would see with, you know, I don't know, a larger projector that costs about $700 or $800. Because at 500, and you'll see this in a minute, I don't expect we're going to have that great of an image. And I'll get our other camera up here. I suspect we're not going to have that great of an image with this when we first hook it up. And the reason is that when you have ambient light, it is not going to do very well. So I'm going to get this kind of, I don't know if you all can see this yet. I'll adjust everything as I get everything hooked up. And we're going to get this situated here. And the power cord, by the way, is very, like, look how short this power cable is. So you're going to need an extension cable with this one, folks. Because I'm putting this in, like, because you got to move it away from a wall, right? And yeah, let me go grab my power strip, because it is not going to reach without that. And where did I put my power strip? Let's see. I've got these like heavy duty power strips, and I keep using them in different places, and then I need another one. So I think I've got to go into my back room and grab that real quick. I'll be right back. And hopefully, I'll give you something more interesting to look at here. Let me go find that. Go find that power strip. Guess I could use one of my extension cables. I might lose you for a second. Hang on. Here we go. Okay. Get the power strip hooked up, and then we will see how this looks. And I got some comments. David's devices have a Pico projector, pocket size, had it for years and love it. Lumens are not so high, but in dark enough room. Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be with these, is get it dark enough. And then we'll see how short of a throw this is too, like how far back do you have to go to get a good image up on screen there. So let me go grab, I'm just going to run over here and plug in the power strip, and then we'll start messing around with this and see what we can expect from it. And I might hook up my keyboard and mouse combo to it so I can more easily navigate some things. All right, so we got that plugged in. And we'll plug in the projector here. All right, so now it is plugged in. It's booting up already. It's got a pretty good sized fan on there. And there is a battery light on the front of it. And we're going to let that boot up. And as it boots, what I'll do is I'll give you that image from our camera here so you can see what it looks like. And I'm going to zoom that, or tilt that camera up a bit. So let's do that. Give you a better view of what we're looking at here. Now, I'm going to adjust that image down a bit. All right, so it's booted up. And as expected, it's this, and actually this is good because what you're seeing is pretty much what I'm seeing. Let's see if I can go out any further. So I'll give you like a little more view of what we're looking at here. So I would estimate let's see what we get here. Okay, so we're booted up. Let's see if I can control it from this distance here. Yeah, so I got to get closer with that remote. Let me grab my keyboard, and what I'll do is see if maybe I can control it with the keyboard mouse combo from a further distance, and I can sit at the desk and monitor all the comments and everything too. And I had my little mini PC over here a little while ago, which has my dongle for the keyboard. Where do we put that little mini PC? But I'm going to let that also kind of warm up for a minute too to see if we get a better image. And what I'll also do is tilt down the camera a bit, and that'll give us a better idea as to yes, I would not call this a short throw. And what it's doing now is it looks like it's recalibrating its focus and probably the keystone. So that'll be something we have to play with. And right now, I would say we are, let me take a look at my, my tape measure here. So we are about, right now, oops, we are about 8 feet, actually almost exactly 8 feet from the wall. So 8 feet back, we've got let's take a look at the image here. It's a little hard to measure with the shadowing and everything, but let's give it our best shot. So I've got probably about a 75-inch image on screen 8 feet away. So let me mark that down in my notes, and then we'll try to control this thing a bit and see what we get here. Okay. David's Devices says, I need to send a link to that power strip along the floorboards. Yeah, you know what that stuff is? That's just basic plug molding that I have down there. Here, I'll zoom down again a little bit. So when I had them do the basement here, I just had them put in plug mold. So that way I have outlets everywhere, because I knew I would need that. And then the other thing I did, here I'll zoom in a little bit. The other thing that I did was I put in Ethernet everywhere also. So every wall has 4 Ethernet jacks as a home run back to my data room. And that's proven to be really useful. All right, so again, just to recap, what you're looking at here is an 8-foot screen, or 8-foot distance from the wall, and we've got about a 75-inch image on the screen here. So I'm just going to mark that down. So this is the Nebula Anker projector. 8 feet from wall and a 75-inch image. I kind of like that shot though. Isn't that kind of a neat way to look at it? Because you can see the projector and you can see the wall. And what's neat about this view is that this is very accurately depicting what the brightness looks like right now. So this is good. All right, so the next step is we got to get this thing attached to the Wi-Fi here. So I'm going to put this dongle in there, this for my Lenovo ThinkPad keyboard thing that we've looked at before. And I'm going to attach this to the USB port. And this should hopefully give us a longer range ability to access the projector. So let's put that in there. All right. Now what's nice is that it appears to have an autofocus. So there's not as much of a requirement to adjust the image. And I'll experiment with some keystoning and stuff later. But as you can see, I'm assuming it's at its full brightness right now, and we don't have a terribly bright image here. Good, so now I can control. So I've got my little keyboard thing here, and I should have a mouse here too. Yeah, perfect. All right, there we go. And Elvis Frazier is here. So I guess the first thing we need to do is get this thing on the Wi-Fi. So why don't we go into that, and I'll set that up real quick here. And I will get it connected to my network here real quick. Now it appears as though, okay, it's there. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, I didn't see my 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi here, but it looks like I found it. So I'm going to select that real quick. And then I'm going to type in my Wi-Fi password. I'm going to hide it from all of you. Oops. And I was looking across the room here. My eyesight is going. I need to get glasses. So we've just typed it in. I'm using this this keyboard so I can control it remotely. And add new network. What does that mean? I don't know. Let's call it home maybe. I don't know what it's asking for there. All right, and no, I don't want to do that. Hang on a second. Why is it? I want to connect to this network. Connect Wi-Fi. There it goes. Okay, so now it's connecting. And it just dropped me back out. So let's try the 2 gigahertz. Oh, it's got an IP. It has an IP address. Hang on a second, folks. Let me just double check this. Elvis is telling me that he had some issues with the Amazon app and chat, but Anthony is able to get it to work. All right, I think we're good on the Wi-Fi. Looks like it is connected. So let's go back out. Yeah, so now we've got Wi-Fi. Okay, so now I think what we need to do is get a few other things going here. Let me just adjust the focus on this. But what you are seeing, by the way, is very much indicative of what I am seeing as far as the brightness is concerned. So with the overhead lights on, it is really kind of on the dim side. And that's, again, because you're not dealing with a super powerful lamp on this one. So that's part of the issue. And what I'm going to do also on the YouTube chat is just leave a note about the lumens. This is a 720p 500 lumen projector, because I'm seeing a lot of the same questions coming through. And we're just going to pin that message there. All right, so there we go. And let me just go through some of the chat stuff here. Yeah, by the way, if you are on YouTube, if you want to watch this without ads, you can, there's some discussion about the ads and stuff. If you don't want ads, then you can follow me on Amazon, and there's a link in the video description. And that's the best place to watch without ads. But on YouTube, I am advertiser supported. That's how we pay the bills for the YouTube side of the content. So that is the deal. And let me just check and make sure I got the most up-to-date link in there, because I may not have updated that link. Let me just double check. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Yeah, so if you want to watch without ads, Amazon is the way to go. And if you don't mind ads, watch on YouTube. And I don't typically drop ads in the middle of the broadcast. I have the option to do that, but I don't do that. All right, so let's get a better view here. Let's zoom out just a little bit. I'm using that Bird Dog camera, that NDI camera. It's been great so far. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the options that we have. See if we can coax some more brightness out of this. So right now it's in standard mode. There's also battery mode. You know, I got to go closer to read this. Actually, I could probably zoom in the camera, so let's do that. So we'll zoom in a little bit so I can read what it says. Images will be max brightness. Okay, so here's an important note, and I'm going to make this a note for my review here. Let me put some bullets into the document. 1.5 hours on standard mode. So I bet you if we switch to battery mode, this will look even worse. Let's see how bad it gets. So let me zoom back out here for a second. Oops, wrong button. So let's put it on battery mode and see what it looks like. You ready? Actually, it doesn't seem to have any impact, did it? Yes, now it's on battery mode. I wonder if you have to go out of... So now I'm wondering if there's like a brighter option here. And you have, so you can do a rear projection. So if we had it rear projected, it would just, see, it makes it backwards. And then you can invert. So if you had it upside down, you could do it that way, see? So you have all those options there. That is good. If anything, it looks brighter since I turned on the battery mode. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe because it's plugged in is why it's not like getting dimmer. That could be why. But you only get 1.5 hours on the brighter setting. So we'll have to see what we've got here. All right, so we got that. You have some color temperature adjustments. So we have it on normal. I think I'll leave it on normal. You have auto keystone correction, which I apparently just turned off. So this is important because you never get it right, you know. So it'll kind of move the image around and I don't want to say distort it. What it's going to do is undistort it. So it has some room to move the image around. It's kind of a bit of a graphical or a image processing that it does. Thermal defocus auto compensation. That's one I'm going to have to look up. And what's this one? This is language, general settings, okay. And this is Nebula Connect, so it's an app. I'll have to grab that in a little while. All right. And we get all of our stuff on here. I'm not sure if Brian took his account off of this before he gave it to me, so I'll have to check that. But I think some questions about, I'm just going through some of these chats here. Ferdinand's wondering, what is this for exactly? Well, that's a good question. I think, you know, when you're looking at one of these devices, this is one of those things, kind of like the Amazon clock we reviewed the other day. If it's for you, then it's something that you're going to find of interest. What I like about this is, here, let me show you. I don't like the brightness. I think I would like it to be brighter. Now, as you can see, we have the overhead lights on. So that is impacting the quality of the image. And as you can see, if you're planning to use this in an environment like I have it in right now, where you want to have the lights on and use this, it's not bright enough. So in that instance, putting a 75-inch TV on the wall might make sense. But if you look at the size of it, so here's my hand versus the projector. It's not very big, so it's very portable. This is something I think would work really well. I'm just seeing how hot it gets. It's not even getting that warm. So I'm guessing it's probably some kind of LED projection, which makes it dimmer. But it also means it doesn't consume as much power. And it also likely means you're not replacing this bulb all that often, if at all. Because some of the other brighter projectors, you get a certain amount of life out of the bulb, and then sometimes the bulb replacements cost as much as the projector does in some cases. But it's very cool. The fan's really, really blowing, but it's cool. And the battery's still charging. So if I unplug I'm going to unplug it here. Now it's on battery. I didn't see it dim at all. But maybe I'll grab the remote and see if we get a brightness reduction. Because I just want to make sure that you can let's see here. Oh, you know what? He took the batteries out of this. Oh, they're in here. Huh. Oh, he never used the remote. That's why. So we're going to take these little things out of there. Okay. So now I should be able to use the remote. There we go. So why don't we go back to the projection settings. And it's in standard mode. So I'm going to switch it to battery mode. Because what's interesting is that when I switched it into this mode here, I'm not seeing any difference in the brightness. And if I unplug it, it's still at the same brightness here. So I wonder if it requires a reboot to get it to do that. And let's take a look at the upgrade, see if there's any firmware updates on it. Oh, there is a new version. Replace the App Store, add FAQ function. It sounds like a pretty big update. So why don't we download this real quick. And it shouldn't take all that long. But yeah, I can see, so my friend Brian, who is the one that let us borrow this, he mentioned to me that the brightness of the projector just isn't working for him in a well-lit room. And you can see that here. And what's nice about this shot right now is that this is very accurate to what I see. We have a super chat from Thomas Anfang. Thank you very much for your contribution. And Mark Dill joining the bronze level support. Thank you very much for that. Thomas is asking about, oh, we have another supporter that just joined up as well. Who else joined here? I can't read it because the font color is all out of whack. Chris Allegretta, bronze level, welcome. Thomas is asking, how's the home theater going? Any upgrades you'd like to do? I haven't touched the home theater in a while. I need to go do something new up there. You know what it is? I'm so satisfied with it. It's funny because, you know, my journey on this channel is that we search for the solution, and then I find the solution, and then I'm done, right? So like upstairs, the home theater just is working great. There are some things that I'd like to do. I would like to get, so right now I've got essentially a 5.1 plus the upward firing Atmos. So I definitely want to go to a 7.1 plus the Atmos speakers. So I think that's where I'm going next. I think that's where I'm going to head to next. But in the interim, we'll go from there. And so Chris became a bronze level supporter, and then Mark Dell did also too, because he was jealous, he said. That's funny. And we'll see. Let's wait for this to go. Okay, so that's done. So we're going to restart. And we'll verify the upgrade file. Yeah, I'm still seeing John here talking about the advertising. If you don't like the ads, just do the Amazon thing. That's the way to go. But I gotta make a living here. It is fun doing what I do, but you can't do this without revenue. So that is why you have those things. It looks like I think the Amazon truck just pulled up. Let's see if there's any more goodies coming in today. I don't think so. Might be some stuff for the kids. All right. And we'll let this do its firmware update. And Chris and Mark get more things on there. A lot of viewers today. Yeah, we got 159 in right now, 169. And we'll see what goes on. Devour Hit wants to know, what are we talking about today? Well, we've got in, this came from a viewer, from my friend Brian Parker. He sent this in to us to review. This is the Nebula Mars 2 Pro portable projector. And so we're playing around with it a little bit, and we're just kind of getting everything set up. When I do these streams, when we do one of these evaluative things, I just got it. So you are following me on my journey of discovery as we're trying to figure this out. So here's a question from Justin. I was looking at buying a portable projector for camping. I've seen good things with the Anker projectors, and saw you also had the capsule. So, you know, it's been a while since I looked at the capsule, but I think the capsule, let me pull it up real quick. Give me a second here. I also have to, I was reminded to click on something that I forgot about, so let me just do that real quick. And bear with me for 1 second here, folks. The capsule, by comparison, I think it's probably the same resolution, if I'm not mistaken. And hang on 1 second, everybody. All right. I think it's the same resolution. Let's take a look. It's almost the same cost also. All right, so the Capsule 2, here, let me detach this thing here, and we'll take a look at the differences. So the Capsule 2 is, and give me 1 second, I just want to turn off my notifications here so we don't get, okay. All right, so the Capsule 2, which is the smaller version, 720p like this one, but it's a very big difference in brightness. So this one is 200 ANSI lumens, the one you see on screen, the capsule. And the larger one here, the Mars 2 Pro, is coming in at 500. So it's significantly brighter, but as you can see, it's not that bright that you could use it in a well-lit room. And I'm guessing the battery life is probably not going to be as good here. Although this one has Android 9 versus Android 7 on the other one. But I'm curious now that we just did our update. Let's see what new goodies have come down here. So we'll go to Settings. And there's something new, which is the FAQ section. So it looks like just a little web thing for support. So I think it's a matter of size. So the capsule is, I would say the capsule is the size of one of those, you know those Arizona iced tea cans? It's that size. This one is much bigger than that, although not that much bigger. All right, let me go walk up to the screen here because I can't see it from where I'm sitting. And let's take a look at what got pushed down in this firmware update. So this is kind of like an FAQ. And all right, so here's some stuff that it can do. So this is going to do mirror. It's not going to do Chromecasting. So if they had Android TV on this, it would, but it doesn't. So it's going to need to do mirror casting. Although it does support iOS AirPlay. However, if you want to look at copyrighted content from iOS, you're going to need to hook it up with a cable to the HDMI. All right. And let me see, here's one other thing that just popped up there. This is under the Contact Us. Okay. All right, so now let's check and see if there's any more upgrades available for it. I doubt there are. Yeah, it's the latest version. And what I'm most curious about is whether or not we get any kind of security updates on this thing. Yeah, it's not telling us. So I got the Android version, which is 7.1.2. Has about 8 gigs of onboard storage, 1 gig of memory. So I need to write that down real quick. And I don't yet know the processor on this, so we need to investigate that as well. Alex Guy says, Arizona iced tea, what? I guess there's beer cans that size also, right? So maybe that's what it is. Marichi said it's small, like half a shoebox. That's exactly, I think that's a very apt description of its size. Very much so. Yeah, Mark, you know, it's weird. These projectors cost a lot. I think that's, that unfortunately is the thing there. Austin just joined as a new member. Thank you for your support. And nice chat from you there. Where did you go? Here you are. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. From Houston, Texas. His name is Austin, and he lives in Houston. I'm sure you get that a lot. Okay. So let us continue down the path here. I just need to make a note of the specs on this. We have 8 gigabytes of RAM, of storage, 1 gigabyte RAM. So you're not going to do much on a gaming perspective. And then this is the AirPlay. So I wonder, let's try to get my iPhone to connect up to it here. So, and we need to make a list of things to demo that I need to do in the review. So demo, we're going to need to do AirPlay, mirror casting, and we're also going to need to look at HDMI input and then input lag if we're able to measure that. Now if I go to my phone, get the box out of the way here. If I go to my phone, you'll see that there is an option to, like it's finding the Nebula on the network, so it's showing up as a source. So we're going to click on that real quick. And let's see. Yep, that works. And so we can see the Amazon chat here. That's pretty cool. David's Devices says, Mark Dell, we enjoy your computers. So yeah, Mark Dell, if you need a Dell, he's your guy. Pretty cool. And what I could also do, for example, is I could pull up my photos on here. So here's my daughter at the dentist, right? So a little bit of a lag, but it seems to be working. I'm on my local school board, and I had to do a presentation last night, and one of the items was this fence that we have to replace. That looks like it needs a little bit of work, right? So yeah, it's a lot of lag here. So it's definitely, you're not going to be playing games over this AirDrop thing here. By the way, I was trying to get one of these. So I had this computer when I was a kid in high school, and I was trying to reacquire one on eBay, and it went for way too much money. Little sub notebook I was hoping to pick up. So yeah, so AirPlay works. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's get out of that. I'm going to turn off AirPlay. So you can get your iPad hooked up that way. Justin's asking, do they both have speakers? Yes, they do. So this has speakers in it. We'll test those out in a little bit. I got to get some copyright safe music loaded up for the audio checks on this one. Actually, you know what we could do, this might be a fun exercise, is that we could go into YouTube on this and pull up one of my videos that just has music running on it. And I got to see what the app does also, so make a note of that. Nebula Connect app. All right, so let's back out here. And this is the app manager. So it has like a file manager, so you can easily sideload stuff on here, which we might want to do. So where is the app store? So this might be the app store. Oh, this is interesting, isn't it? So is this going to drop us into Google Play, or do they do their own thing? And I'm seeing like a lot of the same here, right? Blockbuster, really? Is that still, like, do they have a Blockbuster thing? Oh, Blockbuster Nordic. Watch the latest films. So somebody must have bought the license for that. So I can install Blockbuster Nordic on here. I doubt I'm going to have access to anything. So this is intriguing. So they have their own app store, separate from and it's going to be easy to sideload, obviously. But there's no Google Play on here. So that begs the question, what is not available, right? So let's go back to that store. Can we search? My apps, category, top apps, recommended. So I'm just trying to see if we can, so I don't see like a Disney Plus on here, do you? It's all the usual suspects, but not HBO Go. But what about HBO Now? HBO Go is not even a thing anymore, right? They got rid of that. Movies Anywhere, MTV. It says Pluto. Pluto's on here. Pluto's on everything, though, right? Oh, there's Disney Plus. Wow, that's like really kind of buried in there, isn't it? So let's install that. We have Amazon is on the front page. So if we go back to the home screen, and let's see what we can get on YouTube. Now, I don't know if this has got Brian's account logged in or not. I doubt that he, okay, then we have to install it. So now that begs the question, what kind of client is this, right? Is this the official YouTube client, or is this like some other thing? Well, that's a good question, Mark Dale. Can we watch our stream on YouTube? Let's take a look and see what happens with that. So we will take a look and investigate. Okay, so now we can open this up. That looks like legit YouTube to me, because that's at least the, I mean, would they go through the trouble of ripping off their copyright? That sounds like a legit YouTube. The speaker is pretty loud on it, so that's good. All right, so yeah, this looks like a legit. Did you all see this yesterday? So NASA spaceflight had a great video from their camera location, and it just was raining debris after it met its demise. Here, let's see if we can get some rocket sounds here. Let's go back. Oh, that sounds great. Hang on, let me go back to the liftoff. So I'm sitting across the room from this. And I've got it at full blast right now. So we'll hear, this is like a rocket launch, so this will be good. And there's nothing to see on the screen because SpaceX launched in the fog, so there's like nothing here. And I'll pull up one of my other sample videos in a minute too.
10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It sounds pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you really can't see much if the room is lit up. So here, I'll turn the lights off, and we'll see how it does in a darker environment. Isn't that cool? That's a shot of the fuel tank. So it looks better, so that's why you need this totally dark. And I will say that what you see now is actually brighter than what I see from across the room here. So I'll have to adjust the camera to give you an idea as to what it looks like to me. But not bad. The image quality is pretty good. But I do want to adjust the iris on this because this is adjusting a little on the higher end of the brightness spectrum. And you'll see a little bit of flickering, and that's just I think it's a DLP projector, so you'll see a little flickering on camera, but you're not going to see that in person. And I'm just going to walk over there. And Brian Parker is here, so everybody say hello to Brian Parker, who's been overly supportive of the channel, and also the one who provided the projector for us to review. Yeah, so even like right here, it looks pretty bright, but it's not, it's obviously not going to be as bright as one of the larger projectors that you would get. But it's very cool, like it's not getting hot at all. So it's got to be an LED lamp on it.
Plus 2 minutes, we're getting ready to shut down the first of the.
But I will say, in looking at it, here, I'll turn the volume down a little bit. I will say in looking at it, the quality and sharpness of the image is very good. This is a 720p. We have it 8 feet from the wall. We've got it basically a 75-inch screen that we're looking at right now. And it looks good. I mean, it's got a decent resolution to it. Now, up close, you're able to see the individual pixels. But if you were using this outside at night when it's dark, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, so set those expectations. This is not something that I would bring on the road with me for, for a presentation if you don't know what the light's going to be. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, right now it looks brighter than it does in person. So I've got to adjust my camera here a bit to give you an idea as to exactly what it looks like to me. But not bad. All right, so let's take a look at some other stuff here. And we'll go back. And I guess there was a search in the App Store. Now this supports Bluetooth, so you could hook up your game controllers and all that kind of stuff too to it. We're going to have to sideload a bunch of apps on it because it doesn't have the Google Play Store on it at all. So be aware of that. All right, let's see here. All right, I'm just looking through here to see if I missed anything. Mark Chavez wants to know if it has Kodi. It doesn't on the App Store, but you could easily install it just by sideloading. We're not allowed to talk about Kodi on YouTube anymore. They demonetize you immediately. All right, let's go over to... Yeah, so again, just if you're watching from home right now, what you see is brighter than what I see, just to give you that perspective. All right, so let me go back out here. But like I said, it looks good. I mean, it's it's 720p, so it's not going to it's not going to have a 4K sheen to it. And this is the HDMI selection. So if you had something to plug in, which we'll do in a few minutes, you could do that. So why don't we go back to their App Store? I don't know. I'm guessing there's probably some reason. Let's see if Plex is on here. Yep, there's Plex. So we'll throw Plex on there. So they've got a good amount of apps available here. I don't know how they're getting them. So that's my only concern would be, like, how are they getting these apps? Like, what's the security of these things? Is everything getting sideloaded or what? So let that go in there. Red Hornet wants to know, is there fan noise? There is some fan noise. It's definitely blowing. Let me go over there. My air handler, my heater is going down here too, which is, I got to get it. I have to have the guy come in and look at it because it's making a ton of noise. But I'll stand really close to it. So you will hear it. I will say the fan noise from this, because it's an LED projector, is not as loud as a more traditional bulb that you would have. So take that for what it's worth. And I'm going to try to get this shot. It's funny, this camera is making this look better than it is. So, because you're going to really need this thing in a really dark room, and I'm going to need to adjust. I'm going to try to get this looking like it looks like to me right now. So bear with me for 1 second here. All right, so let's go and see if we can make that adjustment here, exposure. Okay, so we're going to have a manual exposure here. And yeah, that is more like it. Yeah, that looks closer. The camera's still making it look a little bit better than it really is, but that's closer to what I'm seeing. So, turn the lights off, it's not bad. But just know that you got to turn the lights off. You know what I mean? And that looks like the old Amazon logo. So I don't know if we'll see a more updated image there when it boots up. Oh, Jeff G says there is a way to get the Play Store on there. So we should look into that. Anker, Google Play, Mars 2. Let's see if we can get to that. Yeah, I will say, though, I think for most of what you're going to be looking for, it's in here, right? So we have right now on here, we have Amazon Instant Video. Now, what's this say? This app does not support the physical remote control. Hang on, let me zoom in on this so I can see without having to get up. Let's zoom. Please download. Okay. All right. So let's grab that app and see what that's all about. That's a weird thing, huh? Why would it not support the remote control? All right, then we have to log in and do all that. So let's back out of there for a second. Let's do some more searching here. Let's see if they have, what other ones are we looking for? HBO, right? So HBO Go was on the list, but not HBO Max. So I'm not seeing HBO Max. Let's see, apps, HBO Max, no. Missing apps. What about Discovery Plus? I got to tell you, I got Discovery Plus through my subscription to my Verizon phone. Discovery Go, but no Discovery Plus. All right, so what else do we have? Paramount, negative. CBS, wonder if they still have the CBS All Access. It does have that, so let's see what happens when we install that. No Peacock. Yeah, I'll search for Peacock also. Chris Allegretta, that's right. Amazon. I actually like the Amazon Underground app because they had. Remember they had those. If you were a Prime subscriber, there was a bunch of free apps that they were running. Callie wants to know, what about sports channels? Hey, Callie, let me know which ones you're looking for, and I'll have a look and see if I can find those on there. So I'm just curious what happens when we load this up, if it's going to. Because now CBS All Access is now Paramount. Yeah, so now we've got an error here. We are currently experiencing some technical difficulties, partly because the app you're loading is no longer the app that that we support. Yeah, so it looks like this one suffers from a lot of the same issues that I had with the original. And I'm also curious now about Netflix and what level of DRM it supports. So let's install Netflix and see what we get. Chris Allegretta says, is it AC Wi-Fi? I need to get all the specs on this. It is on my 5 gigahertz right now, but I don't know if that is on G or not. I suppose my fancy Unify thing will tell me, right? Let me look that up real quick and see what it's connecting at. So we'll take a look and see. But I will say right now, like what you see is pretty close to what I'm experiencing image-wise. I'm actually quite pleased with the image quality on it. You want to see me in the dark? This is me without my other lights on. I like the image quality of it. It's good. You know what I mean? It's not oversaturated. It has, you know, I think a very good quality image at 75 inches. So that's not been bad. Let me go over to my client list here and see if I can find. Okay, so this is it here, I think. And it looks like this is connecting on at 5 gigahertz, but NA and not AC. Yeah, so this is coming in on the older 5 gigahertz standard, so it does not appear to support AC, according to my fancy app here. So there you go. All right, so we're going to check out Netflix in a second because Callie wants me to look for, this is on the Amazon chat. She wants me to take a look and see if we can find ESPN. I'm guessing, yep, there's ESPN. And then, let's see, what else are we looking for? NFL Network. So we'll type in NFL Network. And NFL Network does not appear to be on here. I'm guessing you could sideload it if you had that ability. But NFL does not appear to be here. What about MLB? MLB is there. NCAA, yep, you can watch March Madness on there. What do you all think about paying basketball players in the NCAA? Let's start that discussion. BB Garnett says ESPN, but not ESPN Plus. So there you go. Yeah, so I think it's going to be hit or miss on these apps. And then we've got the issue of Paramount Plus. So I'm guessing they've got to make the deals, right, to get these things in there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is log into my Netflix account real quick because what I'm curious about, look at this, another one. This version does not support the physical remote control. What is it about the remote that it doesn't like? All right, so Netflix, Amazon. I bet you there's some kind of DRM thing about that, right? And this is one of the arguments. People ask me, like, why would someone want a set-top box when you have all these features built in? This is why. Because you got to deal with all these weird DRM things versus getting a Roku. So you get a Roku stick and just plug it in, and you'd be in better shape, right? I wonder if it has YouTube TV or Lowcast. We should look for all those things. All right, so we need to get that Nebula Connect app. Please download the Nebula Connect app on your phone. So the Nebula Connect app is kind of like an important thing. So let's grab that real quick. Then I should probably try to like sideload RetroArch on here or something, right? All right, so we're on the Mars 2. So here, I'll show you what I'm looking at here on my screen. So we're on the Mars 2. It found it. Connecting. And so, oh, I see. So now I have, so here, if you can see as I'm moving my finger around here. So now this has become the remote control. And then I can remotely control Nebula from your phone. Use the touchpad to control it more easily. And you can also use it as a keyboard for typing things in. All right, so now if we go in and get started here, yeah, I can't imagine that this is going to be a good experience. I don't want to see the plans. I have an account already, so how do I log in? I can sign in, I see. So you know what this is running? This is like the tablet version of Netflix. That's what this is. And then if I go into, so it did not pull up the keyboard on my phone automatically. So what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to log into my Netflix account. And then I always forget my password. Yeah, let's try again. Yeah, so this is like the tablet version. So I'm guessing they're sideloading apps on. And what's crazy about this is that this is exactly, what's my password? I got to go and look at my thing here real quick. Okay, that's what it is. All right. Having like really good passwords is great, except when you have to remember them. And now I'm like doing what my parents do. Like, what's my password again? I can't remember what my password is. All right, so let's go in and see, because I'm really curious now, like what the, all right, so it is giving us the ability to download. So again, this is like the tablet version. All right, let's see here. So we'll say OK. And what I'm going to do is, what is this cats thing? Don't F with cats. Hunting and, oh, that looks like an interesting one, huh? Let me go, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to leave this up because, oh, you know why it doesn't work? The reason it doesn't work is because this is the tablet app, right? So that's why the remote's not going to work with it, for that reason. All right. And as Mark Dell says, yeah, it's good cat advice. That is it. All right, let's take a look at the next step here. Okay, so let's try to go in. Yeah, so right now I'm able to, so it's got mouse control with the phone, but I could also use what I've got here. And so, oh yeah, look at this. So to scroll the screen, you've got to move it like it's a touch. It's exactly what I thought it was. It's exactly what I thought it was. Why do I have bad trip on my list? I don't know why I have that there. All right, so what I want to do, so let's take a look at the DRM level, because I suspect that you're not going to get the full 720p on this. Because if I'm not mistaken, what we're going to see here, yeah, here's what you're looking for. Diagnostics, check network speed, open source licenses. Usually it tells you the DRM level somewhere in here. I'm just trying to see what we would get out of it. I'm almost positive this is going to be like 480p resolution. So it's not like, it's not the Android. And why wouldn't they put Android TV on something like this, right? I mean, it would just make sense to do that. So I'll have to look into that. Jacob Norrie says, password managers. Yeah, we should do something on password managers. So I had mentioned that I like to use LastPass, but everyone's like, you got to use Bitwarden. So that's what everybody likes to use. And Chris says, yeah, don't install. It does look a little sketchy. Yeah, like I said, that's my concern, is that I don't know where the apps are coming from, right? What, we're essentially side-loading through their own store. So what's the deal there, right? And then you're using, like the tablet versions of everything. So yeah, I am with you on that front. But exactly, and so BB Garnett says, like, plug in and, exactly. That's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. Yeah, we're going to hook up a Xbox controller here for that. So the question for all of you, well, I guess what we'll do first is, let me go grab my analog NT Mini. I think it's on the stairs over here still. Is it? Or is it upstairs again? I was going to hook up my analog NT Mini so that we could do a quick little test of its latency, because that's what I like to use for latency tests, because it's like super low latency. So let me go grab that real quick. I think it's upstairs. So I'll give you this beautiful image of a box while I go find it. So yeah, we'll do a little NES gameplay here for a few minutes. You can look at that box. And if you're on any of our chat platforms, just let everybody know I just took a stroll upstairs. Callie's asking me while I'm looking here that I reviewed the Nebula Capsule 2 about a year ago. Am I leaning in towards a preference in either direction? I would say if I had a preference, that I would go with, and I'm just going upstairs here to go find my game console. If I had a preference, I would probably go with this one, just because it's brighter, and you're not losing all that much in the way of size. You know, like it costs this. Actually, this one I think costs less than the new capsule. So I don't think you're losing much. All right, so I got the console here, and what I need to find, here it is my fancy cartridge here. Yep, we're good there. And now we're going to go back downstairs and hook it up. Try a little HDMI. And I'll show you what I'm hooking up here before I do it. But yeah, I think this one makes more sense. And I think the target on this device is, I have a lot of friends doing this now. It's like the outdoor movie night, right? It's getting warmer, people are getting together. Don't want to have an indoor party yet. So, you know, for example, my daughter had a party that she went to over the weekend. You know, nice, safe outdoor party. And it was a movie party. So that's what they did. All right, so now, here's what we got. So this is, I love this. This is the Analog NT Mini. You can't buy them. I think maybe there's a limited run of these. Got a little dusty upstairs. Haven't actually used it in a little while. It is exactly what it looks like, a big block of aluminum. But this is an FPGA Nintendo clone console. And it's not fair to call it a clone console because it's really advanced, but it is kind of that. Has an FPGA chip inside. And then this is a flash cartridge that we reviewed previously. You can buy these on Amazon, actually. This is called the EverDrive N8. And this is the Famicom version, but there's also an NES version of it. And it adds a lot of capabilities that are lacking from the original NES. This will actually do the floppy disk games from overseas in Japan. So it does the floppy system. It does all the special chips. It does save states. It is just an awesome way to experience the NES. So that's it. All right, so now I'm going to go find an HDMI cable. And what's really cool about this console is to show you how we're going to do this. What's cool about this console is that all of these connectors are legit NES connectors. So we have this is my original NES controller from 30-something years ago, more than 30 years ago. So it works great on here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go hook this up to the projector. And I might actually turn the lights back on for a minute. It's going to blow out the image, so bear with me for a second here. I'm a one-man show because I want to show you where it's going to connect. So that image is probably totally blown to bits. Yeah. Actually, you know what? This is great because this looks exactly what it looks like to me right now. Okay, so now we're going to hook this thing up. And you'll be able to see that connection point. So, you know, the TLDR on this, which will be part of the review, is that it's going to be good, actually very good, if you're in a dark room. I'm still puzzled by why these folks cannot get their act together on the built-in Android stuff. So that, to me, remains the big mystery of these. You know, why so many compromises? Why not put Android TV on this little device? Wouldn't that make more sense? But what do I know? All right, let's go up here. And I can tell you from a brightness perspective, Brian Parker bought this specifically to do presentations with. But as you can see, when you have lights on in a room, it's not going to cut it. So you're going to want something, I would say at a minimum, and I would love to hear some comments in the chat about this. I would say at a minimum, you probably want 1,500 lumens, I think is what you want to aim for. That's my opinion. All right, so let's get this hooked up here. And so what I'm doing now is hooking up an HDMI cable into the projector. And then we're going to plug this in here, and we'll boot her up. Let's see. There it goes. Okay. All right, so now we're going to, oh, look at that, it actually switched to it automatically. Now, this is running at 1080p right now. So let me see what you all see on the screen, just so I can keep it all consistent here. Okay, good, so we got that up. So what I want to do is get a game up and running. And I think, to be fair, what we'll do is not have it, I think I'm going to change the resolution to 720p, just so that we can be consistent, with what its native resolution is. So we'll choose that, and we'll go back. And I think we should be at 720p now. Yeah. And then we'll run our cartridge. On the demo. Do a little Castlevania 3. This is the Japanese version with the audio chip. And then we'll see how this sounds. I think I have to adjust the screen stretching on here, but I would have totally killed to have something like this when I was a kid. My school, I think about 30 years ago, had bought like one of the first LCD projectors. Here, let me kill the lights here again so you can see what this looks like. But the sound quality on this is pretty good, I have to say. Yeah, I'm going to take some measurements, but I'm feeling some input lag here for sure. And I'm wondering if you turn off some of the automatic keystoning, if that might improve things. I'll have to test for that. But I can feel the lag, so it's not boding well. Let's see what we get here. And I'll show you kind of like, it's going to be hard to measure this, but it feels measurably laggy. But it looks great. Like the image is clear and crisp. The sound, for the size of the device, the speakers sound pretty good. You're not getting any like deep bass or anything, but you're getting like honestly, like if I was a kid in the 80s, like when this game came out, I would have been like, holy mackerel. Not only do you have Castlevania 3, but it looks beautiful on this 75-inch thing, right? And I could go back further. So the second you turn the lights off, this looks a lot better. But there's definitely some input lag here. And I think what I want to do, by the way, this is a neat game. So if you have the US version, you don't get the full effect of the audio. And what's neat is that this EverDrive cartridge is able to simulate not only the cartridge, but also the special chips. So you're able to get the special audio chips capabilities that you would have on the Japanese Famicom. And that's the version we're running right now, which had a special audio chip built in. But it looks like it's working. Not bad. But it looks spectacularly crisp. All right, so now what I want to do, I'm going to turn the volume down here. Konami's been notorious for going after channels with for their copyrighted music. What I want to do is grab some images of what we're dealing with here. Give me 1 second. Just checking my, okay. Okay, so we got that going. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Chompley said it stayed at 1080p. All right, you know what? Let's reboot this thing and see if it works better. Maybe we'll try that real quick. So I think that's going to be, and I'll measure this. I'm going to take a measurement with my iPad a little later. But everyone's saying it didn't switch resolutions. So let's take a look, because that could be impacting the I remember how to get into the menu. There we go. Oh, it is at 1080p 60. You're right. Let's go back over here to settings, video, resolution, 720p. Oh, I have to hit start to apply. There we go. Okay, so now it's going to go back. All right, so now we're legit at, oops, no, I don't want PAL mode. No. Okay, so we're good. Yeah, so we're at the right resolution now. Yep, so now we're 720p. So let's try that again. And we'll select and start that. And I've got the music off. But let's see if it does better with that in place. And it's still barely, I mean, the fan is not blowing out any hot air, so it's pretty good. Oops, I just did a, there we go. All right, so let's turn up the volume a little bit, but the speakers are great. All right, so now we are running this at the native resolution. It still feels a little laggy to me, but it feels better now than it did before. Yeah, this feels better. And again, I have to measure this with my unscientific method. Actually, no, I got that lag thing. I should try that out and see if that might work. But look at this, though. Look at this. See, it's not scrolling very smoothly. So let's take a look at my settings here. So I think this might have to do with the positioning of everything. Yeah, I'm going to have to mess around with this a little bit, because it's not scrolling nearly as smooth as it was before. Can I get this menu again? There we go. But it looks nice and crisp. And I suspect that all of the automatic settings for keystoning, because you know it's putting on a layer of processing on the image. And if anything, it seems to be doing better image quality-wise at 1080p than it's doing at 720p, oddly. And let me just double-check those video settings again. So we're at 720p 60, right? Oops, settings, video, resolution. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reboot too and see if maybe it's related to that. So let's power off, and then we'll reboot the whole system here and see how that works. Now, what's cool is that when I activate the source, did you see that? Oh, it went back to its 1080p. When I activate the source, so it didn't say, oh, you know, I forgot to save my settings. Let me go back into video resolution. Sorry, everybody. 720p. We're going to apply this. And then I've got to save these settings. Although we didn't run the game yet, so that might be better. Okay, so let's run the cartridge now. And we'll go down to my demo folder and move that up again. Excuse me. I totally typoed my name here. Okay. Yeah, it's still scrolling a little funky here. But I think that just might be my video settings as far as, so you have to get the right, dimensions to the image to keep it from scrolling irregularly. So that's something I'm going to have to mess around with a little bit. You have to get like the right dimension to the screen stretching in order for it not to scroll with issues. And I think I have the screen stretched to what I had it at with the 1080p settings. Because I think if we reboot it and go back to the 1080p mode, let's do that real quick. I think we'll see it kind of jump back to where it was before. Callie has one last question. Would you ever purchase this as a refurb? I would. I never have a problem with refurbs, provided I know where they're coming from. So if it's something that, Anker, because Anker's a good company, so I think they'll honor warranties. So you just want to make sure that there's a warranty with it. So I buy Apple refurbs all the time, and I found that the Apple refurbs are usually pretty good. All right, let's see what we get here. All right, so this is back to 1080p 60. Yeah, it's a little iffy on the scrolling here too. So it could be just this game too. So let me go back, do a few other adjustments here. But there you go. That gives you an idea, right? So I got a little bit more to play around with on that front. Okay, let me see what I missed here on the other. So I had my phone over there so I could see some of the Amazon chats, but not the others. So here's another question. This is one of those things that, this is just like the laptop world here. So let me pull this question up on screen here. Maggie Web Design is saying the Nebula Mars 2 at 720p and 500 lumens cost $800 in Canada, whereas the Gym Tab M18 1080p is $300. Is there a reason? It's all build quality and portability. So I haven't seen that Gym Tab one. So I'll have to check that one out and see if there's one of those on Amazon here in the US. But typically, the smaller something is, the more it costs. Yeah, so the Gym Tab, I'm looking at it right here. This is the same one. This is a 1080p. Yeah, so this is here. Let me pull this up on screen for everybody. I'll move it over to our other view. So the Gym Tab one here, this one might be one to get in and look at, actually, because it doesn't look all that expensive. Look how low cost it is. However, I would say that you typically get what you pay for. So, this one's probably running with a halogen bulb. So you're going to need to upgrade that. If it's that bright, it's got to be. But that's bright. 6,000 lumens. My goodness, that's really bright. We should get this in. What do you think, everybody? 6,000. Hmm. $5,000 to 1 aspect ratio. It must be DLP, right? Yeah, I should look into getting one of these in. It's not that expensive. So my question on this would be, how much does the bulb cost to replace? But if you're not expecting it to work forever, this might be worth looking at, right? I mean, it's pretty bright. That's really bright. I mean, that's like really, really bright. Yeah, it's got 16 million colors. Blah 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 blah. Should we get this? Should I get one? Do you want me to get one? Maybe I will get. I'm going to get one. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to bring it in, and we'll look at it when it comes in. And then one of you can buy it from me. Maybe I might want to keep it. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So let's get this. So this is the Gym. Let me make sure I'm getting the right one. The Gym Tab. It's got a pretty good review rating here. The Gym Tab M18 is what I'm looking at. And I'm guessing there's no stuff in it, so it's not going to have any kind of Android thing going there. But if that's the one you're looking at, yeah. It looks super weird, as Zoran says. Yeah, and everyone's, I would say exactly, it looks brighter than the sun for that price. It looks very fishy. Yeah, so this is one of those things where I think it will probably die on you, and then you're stuck, because who the heck is Gym Tab, right? But I am intrigued. I am intrigued. And how do we measure ANSI lumens? What's the best way to measure that to see if we're getting the full deal out of there? 145 watts. Now, again, I'm curious what the bulb is on it. Well, this is even more interesting. So one of the reviewers here says that this is using an LED bulb. So how are they getting that kind of brightness out of an LED? Let's see. I'm just looking through some of the other. All right, cons, it's noisy. I would guess that because of the fan. It gets dusty. 6 months in, there are gray spots all over the screen and white scenes. You can open it up and clean them off with a better filter. Yes, it looks like it's going to suck in dust and everything. Huh. All right, I'm going to get this because this might be a fun follow-up one to do. And I get an extra $30 off with the coupon. I mean, how could you not do that? So we're going to get this for under $200. So if you all are on Amazon right now, click on the Amazon link and you can buy one too at this price, because this looks like a pretty good deal. It's not going to be as portable, and I can have it tomorrow. Look at that. I can click this button and I'm going to have a van just drop this thing off tomorrow. Look at that. So that'll be tomorrow's stream when it shows up. All right, so we'll get that. Place your order. Okay. Look what you people do. You spend my money all the time. That's okay, because I would not have a channel if not for your suggestions. So there you go. Jim Tab is Jimmy Bean and Tab Soda. That is super inexpensive. All right, we're going to get that one in and see. And if Brian Parker, if you're still watching, that Jim Tab might be the projector you're looking for. So we'll have to see where that goes. Travis Erath is wondering, could you project Among Us? Yeah, you can project anything. If I had my Switch down here, I could plug the Switch in, the Xbox. It'll work with all that stuff. You just plug it into the HDMI, so you could run with that. Red Hornet wants to know, are there VESA mount holes on this? I don't think so. Let me look and see through the manual here. No, just the tripod mount on the bottom. That's it. But you can, it will work upside down. So you could mount it on, you could put a thing in the ceiling and mount it with some contraption, but it's going to have to be done your way there. Interesting. Yeah, so we'll get this in. I don't know. I do want to shoot the review of this probably tomorrow. So if not tomorrow, I'll stream later in the week with it, because it's always interesting. So there we go. So that'll be something we work on. Jamaica Gamer. I do not have Fios, but I do have Comcast. So you've got to get to the right person at Comcast about Gigabit Pro. And I found that if you email, give me 1 second here. I've got to follow up with somebody here because they're calling me about an appointment for something. Okay. Just get my vaccination thing straightened out here, so I have to call somebody back in a little bit. Let me check something else on here. So this is, what was I doing? Oh, about the, yes, so it's, let me find that email address. If you email, I'm going to put this in the chat. If you email cx_request@comcast.com, that will get you somewhere. So I'm going to put that in the chat here. So if you send an email to them asking about Gigabit Pro, they will be the ones that can help you and likely tell you no. But you just keep on them, and then they'll tell you yes eventually. But I totally would have, yeah, I mean, if there was any fiber option beyond what I ended up hooking up, I would have gone with that. And I'm paying a lot for it, but it works remarkably well, as you all see. I mean, and for those of you who've been following my streams for a while, you know just how bad it was And I've gone from an awful connection to, I mean, this connection has been rock solid. I have never had an issue with it. But I'm basically hooked up like a node would be on their network. So it's really, it's a really good connection. So we'll see where we go from there. Zoran says there's a lot of these out there, isn't there? I haven't really looked at projectors in a while, so this is kind of a fun exercise. So I would say, like everything else we talk about here on the channel, what's the advantage of this? Well, if you want simple, if you like the app integration, which again is questionably useful, this is probably worth looking at because you can easily bring it somewhere, right? It's almost like those Bluetooth speakers that you can get, right? It's really, it's not very complicated. You know what I need to look for on that app store is the CPU Z app. I'm just curious what it has for a processor. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, it doesn't have it there. I'm going to have to side load it. So I got some work to do on this thing, but that I can do offline. So yeah, so that is that. So everybody, I feel like I've got a good handle on this. I do have a few more things to test. Namely, I want to figure out what the input lag is on it. So I'm going to work on that. And yeah, we'll see what this thing looks like. And then we'll get that other one in. I'm curious because to see it against the wall there with the lights on, it'll be a big test. I don't know where they get that number from. I don't know how to measure lumens. So if anyone knows the best way to do that. Oh, there's a lumens thing here. What is this? This is it's a laser measure. Sorry, that's not it. Let me look up how to measure lumens. I should know how to measure lumens, but I don't know how to measure lumens. It's got to be like a device you can buy to do that, right? I'm sure it's expensive. Okay, how to measure intensity with a light meter. Oh, okay. So let's see how we can find one. So let me see if anyone has a good light meter. Let me know, or a good suggestion for one. Maybe I'll buy one because we look at projectors all the time. Let's see if we can find a light meter. So this is Dr. Meter, 0 to 200,000 lux. This will probably do it, right? Would this be what I need? Let's just buy more stuff. So what about this? This is the, there's a coupon on this one too. Should I get this one? It's got like a little, oops, shoot. Let me get that off of there. So, should I get this one? Let me zoom in a little bit here. 4 range settings. High quality digital luminance light meter is 4 range. That's a good point also because the farther you get away, right? And when can I get this? Could this one come tomorrow too? Yes. How about that? So that's probably it, right, everybody? You tell me in the chat if that's what I should get. And thank you for the follow, go follows, or go vols, I'm sorry. All right, so we're going to get that one, unless anybody has an objection to that. And then what's cool is that I'll have another thing I can review, another video, right? All right, so we're going to buy this one too, and I get a coupon, 5% on this. So we're saving money today. And we'll see if it lives up to its, and I guess we'll do it on the wall and see what it projects to from that distance. And I can test that one out too that way. All right, so let's buy one of these. And this will be useful later too, so. All right. Done. And then, lo and behold, I'll have ordered the wrong one, right? So we'll see if we get there. Jamaica Gamer's wondering, do I have the Web Presenter HD? I do not. Is that the new Black Magic device? I don't think I have that. Actually, I know I don't have that. Hefin wants to know what I'm using this. Yeah, I'm using my M1 MacBook Air. That's what you're seeing projected there. Is there a projector that quickly switches resolution or sync from your experience? I found this one seems to be doing okay. Most of them are, most of them are working with, essentially an LED panel or a backlit liquid crystal panel, and that panel is just having light shine through it, right? So generally, they are pretty quick about doing that. What's happening with these, of course, there's a scaler inside, which is doing all of this work. So we'll check it out and see what we get. But we were switching resolutions a few minutes ago, and it seemed to be switching pretty quickly on those. So that's pretty good. All right. Well, everybody, I think my money has been spent. And yeah, we're in good shape here. So Jake just dropped off some laptops. I got to start. So I got a bunch of stuff I got to shoot. I'm like a day behind on shooting. So I'm going to finish playing with this thing, and then I've got to get some prep work done. I'm going to shoot the laptop reviews in the morning, I think. So I got in 2 Lenovo ThinkBooks, one with Intel and one with a AMD processor. So we'll do a nice head-to-head. Mark Dell says this is backwards. Yeah, it goes both ways, right? So it's a good circle. But it'll be fun to play with that light meter tomorrow when it comes in. And yeah, Jamaica, I have the YOLO box. It's on the list of things to review, so I'm going to probably get to that in the next week or two. It's definitely something I wanted to get. I've had it for a while. I just haven't had a chance to get to it. Ooh, and Mark got a new ROG Republic of Gamers X13. Very cool. That looks like a nice new toy to mess around with. Zoran makes a very good point on the projectors. They are noisy. Exactly. And that's why this will work well outside. And what I get what I'm hearing from friends and family and kids, parents from school, everybody likes doing the outdoor movie night because that's a safer get-together kind of activity right now. And so that has been, by and large, what's driving a lot of these projector purchases. And this is the kind that you would get for that because it's got a good speaker built in. It's not complicated. You just set it up, and you're off and running with it. So that is a good way to run there. So, all right. Well, everybody, I'm going to depart for now, but I will be back. I will be back, and we're going to do more streaming. So when that other projector comes in, we're going to do exactly what we just did here. So be on the lookout for that. It might not be tomorrow. It might be, depending on what time it gets here and what my schedule is like. I got to get those computers shot. Tonight we're going to have my newest Plex video. It's about their new home theater client for PC and Mac. So that one will be up tonight. And I got a little bit more work to do on the projector here before I shoot that review. So lots of fun stuff coming up. And yeah, if you all see anything that I should get to review like we just did now, let me know, because that wall clock thing, my goodness, I got 30,000 views on that, and that came from a viewer suggestion. So, if you see something, let me know, and I'll take a look at it. And everyone, I want you to thank Brian Parker for letting us take a look at this. And Brian Parker, that projector I just bought might actually be what you're looking for. So stay tuned. That projector might be yours at some point in the near future. So we'll see how it comes together. All right, everybody. I will catch you on the flip side, and we will be back again before you know it. All right. So have a good afternoon, and I will catch you all very soon. Bye for now.